Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my 40-ish, 42, 43, I cannot remember precisely, but like I promised, this is gonna be the video where I talk a bit more about The Evil Within 2. It's kinda gonna be a review-ish, because it's not completely a review, at the same time, it's a personal point of view about the game. So, what is The Evil Within 2? Just to summarize for those of you who haven't yet played the game or who haven't yet thought about playing the game. So The Evil Within 2 is a continuation to The Evil Within 1, obviously. The Evil Within 2 is also known as Psycho Break in Japan, and it's pronounced Psycho Break or whatever they pronounce it over there, but it's a survival horror psychological thriller video game developed by Tangle Gameworks and published by Bethesda. It's a direct sequel to The Evil Within 1, like I said, and was developed and modified on an id-Tech 5 engine. On this particular title, Shinji Mikami isn't actually the game director. He's just a consultant, and Joe Hannes took over as the game director. So he just frequently consults. That's why you see the game is being kinda different this time. Like you can see the touch. And me and my friends were a bit iffy about the game. We felt that it was not a Shinji Mikami game, and we were right. Actually, although he was a consultant, this is not really a Shinji Mikami game, though his name is in the credits. So, what's the plot? What's the story behind, or the prologue for the game? So 3 years. This story takes time 3 years after The Evil Within 1 and the events of Beacon Mental Hospital. Sebastian Castellanos has left the Crimson City Police Department and continues to be haunted by his experiences in Beacon. The disappearance of his wife Myra and the death of his daughter Lily in a house fire all made him a bit, shaky. Sebastian is then approached by a former partner and a Mobius agent, Julie Kidman, and we all know who Julie Kidman is, who reveals to him that Lily is still alive since Mobius faked her death, and however, Mobius now needs Sebastian's help in saving her. Kinda. You ask yourself why? Why do we need Sebastian's help? Because he's almost the only survivor of the Beacon Mental Hospital, and he was able to easily get out of STEM without losing his marbles. Kinda. So yeah. Also, Lily is his daughter, so if anyone else is able to connect with his daughter, it's gonna be him, considering Myra is lost and cannot be found. Sebastian is brought to a secret Mobius facility where he meets the administrator, who further explains that Lily is being used as the core of the new STEM system to simulate an idyllic town called Union. And we read in the notes later on as we play the game that they had a choice. Either bring someone who's kind of a genius but deranged to able to stabilize them, or bring in someone who's pure and lovely, and it should be the purest and most stable brain they can find. And that's why Lily, for the first one they brought in Ruvik. Ruvik was a genius and he was smart and everything, but he was deeply deranged, and eventually he took over STEM and created a horror of a world. And now they got brought in Lily, but for some reason Lily also become unstable. We know why as we play the game. There's a perfect reason why, but I leave you to discover that. I don't want to have extreme spoilers in my review, because again, I don't want to spoil the game for you. So, like I said, they lost contact with Lily and the agents that were covering her, so it's kind of a mess. And they summon him, and of course, now that Sebastian is aware that Lily is still alive, even though he's reluctant, he will still lend them a hand, just to be able to reunite with his daughter and save her. And that's basically the beginning, or the plot, the premise of what are you going to do in The Evil Within 2. So let's talk a bit about the graphics. As we can see the gameplay, this is just a normal video gameplay, and it has no significance, but I wanted to have a gameplay. This is New Game Plus, and as you can see, I'm wearing the jacket, and I carry over from my previous saving, and as you can see, it's easy peasy, and they give me the fist thingy that is in the top left, which one-shots zombies, and a handful of other lovely stuff. Nevertheless, so graphically the game is a step up from the old one. The old one suffered greatly from graphical problems, aspect ratios, although I do have the same black bars cinematic effect from the old one. I kinda like that. It kinda gave a certain flair to the old one. But yeah, it was a mess, and it didn't run great on PCs, and it didn't even run well on my old machine at the time. I played it at 25, sometimes 30 FPS. It was locked at 30 FPS on all those things. So The Evil Within 1 or 2 is a huge step up from the old one, and for that I gotta give them credits. You can find all the modern, standard graphics, but it felt like the game is a little bit undertuned, because the frame rate, for some reason, even now, and even though I already played the game on the same computer, and it didn't drop frames when I was in this place, it is right now dropping frames. I have no idea why. Maybe it's from my end, but as you can see, it's kind of dropping frames. Whatever. So, like I said, graphically it's amazing, but I have one gripe. Where is the old filter? Like, it's a survival horror game. This is a survival horror game. It's meant not to be vibrant with greenish, reddish and bluish colors. It should have been with a filter. I know, many people dislike the filter, many people were not a big fans of the brown filter that was in the Evil 1, but it was a good one. It served a great purpose, and it made the game more atmospheric. So, to compromise this, I would have loved if they gave us the possibility to add these bars, these black bars, and the filter from the beginning. And they will disable it, and they'll just give us a message. For those of you who played The Evil Within 1, or me, or whatever, you can turn on these options off whenever you wish to. So you will be able to satisfy everyone with this solution. But now you have to actually finish the game to gain access to these stupid cinematic bars. It's kinda, I don't know why, but whatever. Okay. So, yeah, even the vibrant colors kinda, I don't know, takes me off a survival horror. Maybe I'm way too into the classic survival horror experience, so maybe it's just me. But that's my gripe, and that's my personal opinion. And that's one thing. The other thing that I really disliked, is the animations. The animations, the physics kinda are horrendous. Like, not the type of break the game pace horrendous. Sometimes, you see some stuff like how do I explain it? Because I'm not an expert in game design and animations and stuff, but you kind of feel like it's not a clean animations, and it feels like there is a lack of transition. When you observe the zombies, when you observe them walking by, patrolling, you kind of know when they are gonna stop and start another animation, which is kind of bad, in my opinion. It's a tidbit stupid. So yeah, aside from some bugs where you fly away and you do stuff, the other thing is what's right now happening. This Skyrim / Deus Ex / Mass Effect-y, I don't know, style of dialogue. This is jarring. I don't know, this is a survival horror game. I keep saying this. You shouldn't do these things where people stand like robots and have like one animation, and you, in order for the sake of story, as you can see, three options where you dive into the story, you give me this classic system. It fits in an RPG game. It doesn't fit in a survival horror game. The right thing to do was to do just the classic thing, which is give us notes. Putting, I don't know, tapes, cassette tapes like you used to in the old one. You find those cassette tapes that had more for the story, and you cannot find these here. And it's a bit why? I don't know, is it just because of the younger generation? Are they more used to these kind of things than we do? I don't know, maybe. So that's for the graphics. Of course, I'm not gonna go into detail with the options menu and the one graphic after the other. For me, the whole experience was okay. It was enjoyable. So what about game design? Map design. So obviously this game is kind of an open world. And I don't mean open world as in The Witcher or, I don't know, Grand Theft Auto open world. I mean it in the sense of it's kind of a bigger Silent Hill 2 open world-ish, where you have this big town, this simulation, it has its boundaries. They create boundaries by breaking roads and explaining that Mobius, the world is breaking apart, as you can see in the video, and that's how they limit where you go. But to be honest, this is okay, this is cool. It creates a story, it creates an environment for you to explore. So this is encouraging those of us who have a thirst for looking for items and hidden stuff and exploring. So it's kinda open world, but it's not too much. And you get a transition to corridors and guided stories as you progress through the story. So it's a nice mix between those two. You kind of take a breather when you're in the open world places like this, where you just explore things, break boxes, find loot, and kind of want to spend more time in the world. Okay, I'm okay with this. They have a stealth with the green grass and where there's zombies, and they give you kind of multiple choices to tackle a place. And I like this because when the first time I played this game, instead of going to the left where I'm going right now, I kind of went to the right, and to the left there's going to be a crossbow that will make the game a bit easier and make you advance through the game better, and will unlock a save house for you. No, I went to the right and I did other stuff. I even reached the point of the story where I need to go. I didn't go to, but yeah, it's kind of created replayability to the game, and from that point on I wanted to do things differently, so it kind of transitioned me greatly to New Game Plus. This is a good thing, and that's is one of the good qualities of the game. And I like that they took this from Silent Hill and other survival horror things. So in relation to The Evil Within 1, so how does this game fare? Like, Is it good? Is it better? So in some fields, it is an advancement. In others, it's kinda not really. So you see here zombies roaming, idling. You can see different kinds of zombies. One of them kind of detected me and is trying to attack me. And I will talk about the AI in a bit, but yeah. It has a face in her back, I just noticed. But what I disliked is that they pushed the open world scenario a bit too much. Like I said, you see the animation right here. Is if you die, you will not find the same zombies here. It's like their bodies and their characters, the body in general, are randomly generated. So right now, you can see a woman holding a burning Molotov cocktail. If you die here and you come back here, chances are you're going to find an entirely new model. And for me, I dislike this. Some of you will argue this is a simulation and it's kind of part of the game, but to be honest, it breaks the immersion for me. When I die to some zombie, I would love to find the same zombie and take my revenge, not some randomly generated body that kinda, do the same things. In The Evil Within 1, zombies were always in the same place, and it's like created this aspect where in certain areas you'll find this certain type of zombies that you will not find in other places, and it created more immersion in the game where you will find this type of zombie. It just created character for the zombies, made them more fearful. Whereas in The Evil Within 1 or 2 to be more correct, I just think of them as random enemies that I need to take care of. In The Evil Within 1, I was more compelled and more thinking of them as, these are monsters, these are zombies, and I took them a bit more seriously and thought more of them. Right here, it's just like a gameplay aspect of the game where, okay, there's a bunch of zombies, I need to take care of them, and that's it. So I would have loved if they didn't go with the approach of randomly generated corpses. Now let's talk about AI. And boy, oh boy, have I not talked about AI as I was playing the game. AI in this game is kind of abysmal. I don't know if it's deliberate, if it's lack of time for programming, or whatever, but the way the AI behaves is extremely strange. You just saw earlier that zombie who just breezed through me and she was looking to the other side, and that's how they act. And in the first one, I remember I was in the village and I had like a zombie horde following me, and I couldn't just simply break the AIs following me by just hiding and they will immediately stop. Even if I break vision with them and go hide behind a wall or in a house, they will still go to my last known location and patrol that area and look for me. So if they saw me hide behind a wall, they will come behind the wall and look if I was there or not. So if I move to another safe place, okay, I successfully hid. In The Evil Within 2, it's Corvo's mask, by the way. In The Evil Within 2, it's not the same thing. Like, you can have zombies chasing you, and if you get significant distance, they will no longer chase you. They will stop chasing you because you're out of their circle of recognition or whatever they are using. You will have zombies that are running behind you. The second you go behind this train, for example, behind the box, the second you hide, they will immediately forget your existence. And that's extremely game-breaking. I don't know why they did that, it was stupid. So basically, as a survival horror game player, as someone who's used to play these games, I exploited that immensely. Those of you who watched my playthrough will see that. Like, I was kiting zombies left and right, especially at the end or the middle or the end of the game, where I had more upgrades. I had the hunter upgrades where I can hide behind cover, and any zombies coming towards me, I'm gonna kill them automatically. That made the game extremely easy, despite the fact that I was playing on nightmare difficulty. And speaking of difficulty, any of you who played Resident Evil, Silent Hill, any of you who are avid survival horror game players, I highly recommend you do not play the survival and other easy difficulties. Start playing the game at nightmare difficulty. It will make it a bit more challenging and give you more immersion into the game. I think I remember in this particular scene there was 3 zombies coming at me, not one. So that created tension. It made me want to run away or hide or shoot, panic, aiming and all those things which are meant in a survival horror game. Those are good stuff. So if you play in the survival difficulty, which I'm doing now just for the sake of discovering things and seeing, it's extremely easy. And survival games are not meant to be easy. They are meant to be a bit challenging. They are meant for us to be conserving ammo and thinking strategically, not just breezing through the game like it's Call of Duty. It's survival. That's the term. But hey, these are my personal opinions. I may be wrong. I hope you guys will leave comments and correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, back to the AI. So like I was saying, it will ignore me and everything, so I just use that as a farming strategy. I will lure the zombies, I will kill them one by one. In a certain point I killed 7 zombies, one by one, by doing the same thing. Go aggro them, go back, hide behind the car, and kill whoever's coming. And the second I hide behind the car, only the first zombie who was the closest to me is gonna come look and patrol. The others are gonna immediately go back and do their own thing. And so on and so forth. There was a lot of cheese. There was a lot of cheese. That's the my small rant, because again, I've talked in many episodes. I talked about AI in many episodes. So if you want more talk about AI, go watch my playthrough. If you want to, of course. How about the story? Because what's a survival game without story? Really? The story of The Evil Within 2 is a bit of an advancement compared to The Evil Within 1. But it's a simple one, a well-rounded and predictable one, with some characters who are really good and others who are extremely cliché. And they even used the bland and the classic washed up ex-drunk cop with his daughter. Even the daughter concept is kept, not a son for some reason. Why not a son? Why is it always a daughter? And as I say this, I do remember Splinter Cell, for example, Conviction. It's the same thing. They made him believe that his daughter was ran over by the car, but why not a son? Anyway, maybe it's more to have a daughter than a son, but it's my personal observation. So, the character of Sebastian, by the way, he has a different voice actor, and the voice actor who's playing him right now isn't that good, in my own opinion. I don't know, his voice is a bit higher pitched, and sometimes, I don't know, is it because I'm used to the old one? But the old one was gritty, he was serious, and he felt like a hardened cop, where this one felt more like an emotional and, I don't know, traumatized person. Maybe it was their intention, but for me, I prefer the first one. So, yeah, that's Sebastian. There are other characters like Hoffman, like the soldier, that female soldier that I keep forgetting her name, and there's the sub-villain and the main villain, and all those characters were okay. I guess for the exception of the main sub-villain that you will see as you start playing the game. Okay, so I like the fact that he has his, his story, which is like this creative guy, artistic guy, and he tries to create art, and it's okay, but it felt like too much of a Jin from League of Legends or something. It's a cliche. It also is a cliche. I've seen it before. This talented artist who wants to create masterpieces by killing people is nothing new. Thankfully, the second or the main villain, the guy behind everything, is kind of better. He is better. He has a demeanor, he's cunning, and he has objectives that are understandable. The certain parts of the story that were too jarring for me. One particular character, I don't know, perished in a cliched way. I wish they would have done more to her, to the character. Another character just disappears. I thought that he's gonna be doing a secret cinematic where you and that character in particular would meet in, I don't know, something, because the character just completely disappeared, and that's it. You just read about the probability of him surviving or dying, and that's it. And he's gone. So yeah. There is a main boss fight for the villain, and there is an auxiliary boss fight. I guess I kinda want to spoil this bit, so for those of you who don't want me to spoil the ending for them, you can skip. So yeah, you will fight the boss fight, and then you will go and fight a sub-boss fight, which is your wife, Myra. And honestly, they could have done it better. It's just like a generic monster with no meaning. She's lost her mind and you fight her and that's it. It's not like the Silent Hill 2 where it's more of a symbolic fighter, and it leads beautifully towards the end of Silent Hill 2. I wish they could have done something similar. Not just a generic, I'm a bad man or I'm a bad woman right now and you need to fight me and that's it. So I hoped they would have done something better. I also hoped they would have had branching endings. Just like in many survival horrors. Even Resident Evil that Shinji Mikami participated in had different endings. In this one, the ending is the same. It's a big, giant meadow of green grass, flowers and everything. Ending with everything living happily ever after, and that's it. But my question is, where on earth is Ruvik? That was like a loose end. The Evil Within 1 ended with a big giant cliffhanger, and there is no mention of that in this one, in the entire game. It's like it was disregarded. And from the get-go, from the beginning of the game until the end, I always thought that Ruvik is gonna be in this simulation because he was fused with that other mental guy who they merged together in the DLC, the Kidman's DLC, and as you fight him, you defeat him, you crush his brain, but you realize that he still resides in, what's his face? I cannot remember the name. I edited it in the video, of course, but you know who I'm talking about. And I thought that in the Evil Within 2, you will fight him. You will find and perhaps fight him. You will have a tied ending to it. But no, not really. There is no Ruvik, there is no mention of Ruvik, maybe once, and that's it. it's a bit weird. Maybe in the future DLC, but so far, nothing. Well, anyway, that's my rant. In general, and in a whole, if you're a fan of survival horror games, The Evil Within 2 is a fantastic game. Has its problems, has its bugs, some weird jarring stuff, but it's a good game. There isn't that much survival horror games in the market right now, so The Evil Within 2 is a well-recommended game for me, especially if you played the first one. But to me, the first one is still the best. There are certain places in The Evil Within 2 that I really liked the game, and they felt really great, they were atmospheric, cinematic, and I wish there were more of these in the game in general, but so far, it felt like it wasn't Shinji Mikami that was doing the game. It was obvious. And to me, if I rank the games, this one came second. The Evil Within 1 is the first, and the most favourable to me, and then this one is the second. But this is my own opinion, and no one else's opinion, of course. But if you want me to recommend the game for you, yes I do. The Evil Within 2 is a great game. I hope you guys play it, and I hope you enjoy it just like I did. And I kept coming back to it. I even want to keep playing a bit of the New Game Plus, and which I probably should. I don't know. I do have all my guns and stuff, so I could breeze through the game if I want to. Maybe I'll do a proper review. But yeah, so far, this has been my review-ish of The Evil Within 2. I hope you guys enjoyed my playthrough of the game, and I will see you in my next playthrough. So until then, you guys have a great day, and see you when I see you.